Pokémon Legends ZA has been out for over a month, and I am thoroughly enjoying this experience. It's got everything I truly hoped for. A compelling story, awesome new characters, the freedom to customize, a major shakeup of the system with real-time battles, and of course, shiny Pokémon. But the best part of all for me is the return of the greatest gimmick in all of Pokémon games, Mega Evolution. So join me on my journey to Lumiose City as I, Sir J.K. Gardalade, try to conquer Pokémon Legends ZA using only Pokémon that can Mega Evolve. Here are all my self-imposed ground rules that I've set for this run. So without any further delay, it's onward to the Kalos region. This journey begins with me as the male avatar for my second ever playthrough of Pokémon Legends ZA. In my first main playthrough of the game, I went with the female avatar due to it having the advantage in many options of character customization. And once my train finally made its destination, it was time for me to enter from parts unknown into a wonderful array of opportunities that awaited me in Lumiose City. I was so excited to see the sights and explore Lumiose City on my own, but another trainer from a distance spotted me by the name of Tawny, who wanted me to help her in advertising via a short video to get more guests to come into Hotel Z, before we were slightly interrupted by an announcement on a big screen from a few yards away by a lady named Jet, the president of Quasartico Incorporated. And after that was done, my bag was suddenly stolen by what seemed to be a wild Pancham, who led Tawny and I on a wild goose chase around the city, before finally finding Pancham near two trainers with my bag in their possession for now, as Tawny gives me the freedom of choosing one of the three starter Pokemon, and I decided to go with the Unova Region Fire starter Tepig. Sorry all you Johto fans. And just like that, I was thrust into battle for the first time, giving you the first look at the new battle style mechanic, where you have 4 selected moves on the face buttons of your Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2. At this point, Tepig only knew Tackle and Tail Whip, which was more than enough to defeat the Pancham and get my travel bag back. As a sign of goodwill and congratulations, I gained myself 2 new friends within the first hour of arriving in Lumiose City, Tawny by virtue of a fist bump, and my first partner Pokemon of this run, Tepig. But there was no time for me to celebrate just yet, as night begun to fall, leaving Tawny and I in the middle of a battle zone, which gave me my first indication of how cruel nightlife can potentially be in Lumiose City if you are not fully prepared. Tawny tried to usher me into a great spot before reaching Hotel Z, which was our chosen destination, before I got ambushed by a female waitress who challenged me to battle, not knowing that I was just on vacation trying to get myself settled in the city. She challenged me with 2 Pokemon, and I only had Tepig at the time, which I nicknamed Chili, which was appropriate considering it just learned the fire special attack Ember, and I was able to take down both of her 2 Pokemon, Cleffa and Bunnelby, and I thought I was home free, but I was wrong, as Tawny and I were rudely greeted by 3 more battle-hungry trainers. Tawny was willing to take all 3 of them on at once in order to protect me, but in came a black flower Floette to the rescue, scaring off all 3 trainers with a Hyper Beam-like fairy special attack, the Light of Ruin. And once those 3 trainers started running for higher ground, I can finally breathe easier alongside Tawny, and we safely made it to Hotel Z. And as I entered the hotel, I met its owner, AZ, a man that has lived for 3,000 years, and he's a pretty tall dude. Maybe the Lakers could make good use of him as a center. I made good use of the hotel key he gave me to take the rest of my first day off. And as I woke up the next morning, I was greeted by Tawny, who entered me into the ZA Battle Royale and made me a card-carrying member of Team MZ by giving me a brand new Team MZ jacket and a satchel to carry around. A basic outfit for a novice trainer just starting out in Lumiose City, but I kind of like it. I will change it later on during this run. After some quality of life moments from Tawny teaching me how to roll and dodge, I met another member of Team MZ, an inspiring dancer named Lita. Then as I stepped outside of Hotel Z for the first time since arriving in Lumiose City, I was challenged to battle by Tawny, and I was able to defeat her, despite the fact that she had the other two starters I didn't pick in Totodile and Chikorita. That was my last battle of this run with just Tepig, as Tawny and I ventured further into the city towards the first Wild Zone. Arriving at Wild Zone 1 and entering it for the first time, the game makes us catch the first two wild Pokemon we find in this zone, being Fletchling and Bunnelby, neither of which can Mega Evolve at their final evolutions. But fortunately for me, I'm able to find my first two eligible encounters in this zone, being a Weedle, which I nicknamed Janine, and the Mareep. The odd thing about this is that the Mareeps in Wild Zone 1 are shiny locked until you do a certain side mission in the game that we'll get to later on as we progress in the story. I stayed as long as I could in Wild Zone 1 to catch every possible Pokemon in the zone before heading over to the research building for the first time, meeting up with the acting professor in Mabel, who looks pretty familiar from the original X and Y games. After claiming the TM for Rock Smash, I was encountered by the third member of Team MZ, an avid fashion designer in Naveen, who gave me a striped trilby, a fancy hat to wear. I climbed up a ladder atop a building to catch the final Pokemon left in Wild Zone 1, a Pidgey, which I nicknamed Faulkner. Arriving in Hotel Z, I got my first promotion match announcement, giving me the opportunity to rise up the ranks for the first time, going up against a local taxi driver named Zach. But in order to challenge Zach, I needed to earn a challenger's ticket. With a little help from Team MZ, even Lita teaching me the art of how to sneak attack to get an immediate critical hit on an opposing trainer, Tepig swept through 3 straight trainers, allowing for me to earn my challenger's ticket, accumulating 1,000 points. I was also able to get my first fully evolved Pokemon to the team, as Janine evolved into Beedrill. I also got massive help from a mystery gift, as I was able to get this Ralts. But this wasn't just any old Ralts. It came with the Gardevoirite Stone, giving me my first Mega Stone throughout this run, but I'm not able to Mega Evolve my Pokemon just yet. This Ralts was a female, which means it can only evolve fully to Gardevoir at level 30. If it was a male Ralts, I had the option of either letting it evolve all the way to Gardevoir, or wait till level 20 when it evolves to Kirlia, and get a Dawnstone to evolve it into a Gallade. But now it's time for my rank to finally increase for the first time, as I'm not going to stay in rank Z for long, especially against Zach, a Pokemon trainer that wants to abolish all forms of transportation except for taxis if he gets to rank A. So it's up to me to put an end to those plans, especially considering Zach is notorious for losing. Beedrill got things going off to a great start for me by knocking out Zach's first Pokemon Slowpoke with a flurry of super effective pin missiles. Beedrill even managed to hold its own somewhat against Zach's second Pokemon, his very own Pidgey. Once Beedrill was taken down low, I swapped in Chili, my starter, to finish off Pidgey with a super effective rollout, forcing Zack to call upon his ace Pokemon, a Pikachu. I kept Tepig in for the remainder of the bout, being briefly paralyzed by Pikachu's Thunder Wave, but the momentum of rollout was just too much, giving me my first victory in the ZA Royale and Zack's 100th consecutive defeat, promoting me to rank Y in the process. In preparation for my second promotion match, I put my Ralts, which I nicknamed after Kalos Region Champion Diantha, to work, helping me catch a Binacle in Wild Zone 2. Diantha even got her first victory in defeating the 5th strongest disciple of the Fists of Justice. I also wanted to add more to the team by catching a Cleffa. But the strongest acquisition to the family that I was able to get in the early portion of this game was by trading with an NPC in one of the many shopping arcades in Lumiose, trading a Pikachu that I caught in Wild Zone 3 for this 3 best IV Heracross. That was the last of the first 3 side missions handed to me by Detective Emma, who challenged me to a Pokemon battle in front of Looker Bureau. But the match did not last long, as Heracross dominated Emma's only Pokemon, Mareep. After the win, Emma gave me a first look at what Mega Evolution is like in the Kalos region, showing off her fully evolved Mega Ampharos. Then I was immediately notified on my Rotom phone of who my opponent is for my second promotion match. Wanting to add to my collection of Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, I returned to Wild Zone 2 when it was nighttime to catch a Staryu. Then I visited Wild Zone 6 for the first time to catch 3 more Pokemon that can Mega Evolve in Baniri, Houndour, and a Meditite. While doing so, the Pokemon I already had started to gain levels, including my starter Tepig, which evolved into its middle stage evolution Pignite, gaining the secondary fighting typing and learning Power-Up Punch upon evolution. I then went into Wild Zone 5 to catch an Alpha Bellsprout, which wrecked my team before a Poison Pidgey got the KO. After catching the Alpha Bellsprout, I caught a Paravenipede, and as a result of that, another one of my Pokemon managed to evolve as Pidgey evolved into Pidgeotto. And the Alpha Bellsprout I caught was at level 24, which means it's at a high enough level to evolve to its middle stage evolution Weepinbell, which I can easily evolve to Victreebel with a Leaf Stone, but I wanted to put Weepinbell to use immediately in my second promotion match against Yvonne, as I try to increase my ranking to X. By default, I started this bout with my starter Pignite, but I immediately swapped in Weepinbell to take on Yvonne's first Pokemon Spritzy, a Fairy type, which is at a disadvantage against poison types like Weepinbell. And the cool thing about this Weepinbell, I caught this as an Alpha Bellsprout that already known the poison move Toxic, a move that once you poison the opposing Pokemon, the damage doubles as long as they're on the field until they end up fading, just like Spritzy did, and Yvonne's second Pokemon, another Fairy type in Swirlix. Pignite finished off the fight by knocking out Yvonne's Ace Vivillon with a quad-effective rollout, even through the light screens it set up, as I'm now officially rank X. After soundly defeating the busy businesswoman to increase my ranking, 2 of my Pokemon evolved, including a Magikarp that I caught in Wild Zone 2 to Gyarados. And my mystery gift Ralts finally evolved into Kirlia. Adding some increased firepower was just in the nick of time as I got another announcement on my ZA Royale app, announcing who my third promotion match opponent is. But before taking him on, I caught 2 more Pokemon that can Mega Evolve once they're at their final stage evolutions in this Abra, and an Electrike in Wild Zone 5. While clearing out Venipede and an Alpha Whirlipede, I was able to find a revitalizing twig in Wild Zone 5, which was needed to cure an ailing Fennekin, which promptly joined my family of Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. After earning another Challenger's ticket, I stepped up to face a grade schooler named Zavi, who thinks X looks good on me as far as my ranking, but I'm here to prove him wrong. This is the first promotion match throughout this run where I go up against a trainer that has a team of 4 Pokémon. Zavi's first Pokémon is his own Venipede, who set up a layer of spikes before immediately getting torched by Flame Wheel from Pignite. Hoping to gain the type advantage, Zavi brought out the Psychic-type Kadabra, who immediately got knocked out by my counter in Gyarados with a bite right before Kadabra tried to set up a Reflect. Zavi's third Pokemon is Roselia, who tried to put Gyarados to sleep with Sleep Powder, but I swapped in Kirlia to finish off Roselia with another one-shot, courtesy of a Psy Shock. And Zavi was down to his last Pokemon, his ace being the normal-type Furfrou. I subbed back in Pignite to set up a Fire Spin before it got hit by Furfrou's takedown. I then swapped in Heracross, who took a Thunder Fang, which paralyzed Heracross, and then a super effective Fire Fang before Heracross scored the final KO for the win with a Rock Smash. Another convincing win, which means I rise up the ranks once again to rank W. After a friendly battle with Lita, I got another announcement for my next promotion match to get my rank up to rank V. Remember what I said earlier about the Mareep and Wild Zone 1 being shiny locked? Well, I returned to Zone 1 to meet up with an NPC who claims to have found a shiny Mareep. So I decided to investigate for her on this side mission. After climbing up a couple of ladders to reach the top of the building that is in Wild Zone 1, there it was, pink wool and all, a shiny Mareep just standing there. After making a call to the NPC to tell her that her eyes were not deceived, she was in complete shock and utter amazement to find a shiny Mareep, which completely ends the side mission successfully and removes the shiny locks of the Mareep in Wild Zone 1. This particular shiny Mareep has a 100% catch rate, which means you can absolutely not fail it regardless of what Pokeball you decide to catch it in. I managed to catch this shiny Mareep in a luxury ball. It had the adamant nature, which is not ideal, but I still managed to add it to my team for the battles to come. And I also, with a bunch of EXP candies I was able to earn, I evolved this shiny Mareep after nicknaming it after Kanto Gym Leader Lieutenant Surge into Flaffy. After healing up my team at a nearby Pokemon Center, I got another surprising call, this time from Professor Mabel, as I headed back to the research lab. Just like the original Pokemon X and Pokemon Y games, I was able to get my choice of a Kanto region starter Pokemon. And once again, I took to the right side and chose the water starter Squirtle. The starters in this game may be shiny locked, but they are guaranteed to have 3 best IVs, which makes for a pretty strong addition. Speaking of additions, I headed back to Wild Zone 6 to catch a Swablu, which I quickly nicknamed after Hoenn Gym Leader Winona. I then made my way over to Restaurant Lena to take on the head waiter in Rintaro in hopes of increasing my rank once again. He comes at me with a team of 3, also declaring that if he gets to rank A, he'll finally turn Restaurant Lena into a 3-star restaurant. But right now, it's only a 1-star establishment, and I'm about to make it stay that way, as I start with Shiny Flaffy to go up against Rintaro's first Pokemon, the Gen 5 evolutional grass monkey, Simisage. I had Flaffy use Electro Web, which Simisage protected against, and seeing that Simisage used Protect, I swapped in Pignite to take out Simisage after setting up a Fire Spin, as Simisage got rocked by a Fire Punch. I then swapped back in Shiny Flaffy to take on the water evolutional monkey Simipour. As Simipour went down to the combination of Thunder Shock and Electro Web, I swapped in Gyarados to deliver the final blow. wiping out the fire elemental monkey Simisear with a waterfall. So far, I have breezed through the easier part of the run, but once the sun sets in Lumiose City, as I rise up the ranks to rank V, business is surely going to pick up. Riding the waves of yet another rank increase, I was confronted by both a phone call from Emma and a mysterious-looking Pokémon, which turned out to be the 10% form of Zygarde. At Emma's request, I chased Zygarde down. Zygarde led me to a building, which he suddenly yanked me up all the way to the top. And on the other side, there was a Pokémon that was emitting some weird energy. It turned out to be an Absol that was suffering from what could potentially be Rogue Mega Evolution. That's when AZ decided to make an appearance alongside a Lucario, who was tasked with a mission of giving me a special gift. I now own a Mega Ring, which means I now have the full capability of Mega Evolving a Pokémon at any time during battle. And this tutorial fight against Rogue Mega Absol gives me my first opportunity of utilizing Mega Evolution for the very first time. With some guidance along the way from Emma down below, I was given the task of trying to pacify the Rogue Mega Absol in hopes of calming it down, utilizing Mega Evolution for the first time with Lucario, which meant all of Lucario's moves became plus moves, which meant Lucario's moves did more damage. The combination of Rock Smash to occasionally lower Absol's defense, the priority Bullet Punch, and Lucario's signature Aura Sphere was enough to eventually calm down Rogue Mega Absol. And by defeating the Rogue Mega Evolution, I gained Absol's Mega Stone. And as a thank you for freeing it from its rogue state, Absol joined my family of Pokémon that can Mega Evolve, making this for the easiest catch of the entire run. The obedience cap is now at 40 for reaching rank V, which allowed for me to make for some timely evolutions. I now have a fully evolved Shiny Ampharos, and Diantha evolved into Gardevoir. On the next day, I was challenged to battle once again by my rival Tawny, who also had a Mega Evolved Pokémon. I decided to evolve Mega Gardevoir after defeating Tawny's first two Pokémon, as Tawny showed off her Mega Manectric, who went down in record time by the combination of Mega Gardevoir's Draining Kiss and Dazzling Gleam, the latter attack that Gardevoir instantly learns once it evolves at level 30 from Kirlia. I must join Tawny at Quasartico Incorporated, but before doing so, I needed some more heavy hitters, so I went into Wild Zone 8 to catch some ground-type Pokémon like Numel and Drillbur. But the biggest get in my first visit to Wild Zone 8 was catching a Gible. And since this Gible was a female, I nicknamed it Cynthia. I then headed to Wild Zone 9 for the first time to catch a Sableye, a Ghost and Dark type that can also Mega Evolve. And after leaving Wild Zone 9, Cynthia evolved into its middle stage evolution, Gabite. Finally catching up with Tawny at Quasartico Inc., we met up with Secretary Vinny to discuss some business, which involves the dangers of Rogue Mega Evolution that could potentially wreak havoc on the entire city. And it also turned out that Vinny was our next opponent in the ZA Royale. The only mystery is, we don't even know what Vinny's rank is. So Tawny and I had to bust our rear ends to earn ourselves another Challenger's ticket. Along the way, I visited Stone Emporium to purchase a Leaf Stone, evolving Ramos into Victory Bell. And my starter finally reached level 36, so it was time for Chili to evolve into Emboar. And by evolving, Emboar learns its signature fire physical attack, Heat Crash, just in time for my promotion match against Vinny. This will be my first promotion match in Pokemon Legends ZA against a trainer that also has a Pokemon that can Mega Evolve as his ace. I chose to lead things off with my shiny Ampharos against his first Pokemon, Houndoom, who set up a Fire Spin. So I decided to attack with Power Gem, a rock special attack that's super effective against Houndoom. After moving out of the way of Fire Spin, I finished off Houndoom with a Thunderbolt, then immediately swapped out once Vinny brought out his second Pokemon, Sharpedo. Even though Ampharos had the type advantage against Sharpedo, I brought Victory Bell in anyway to one-shot Sharpedo with a Bug Physical Attack Leech Life. The third Pokemon Vinny sent out is a Baniri, which leads me to speculate why he didn't fully evolve Baniri into Lopunny with Max Friendship. Baniri easily went down to Embor's Heat Crash, leaving Vinny with only his final Pokemon, a Drampa, from Generation 7, which is a normal and dragon type. Oh yeah, Drampa's the first Pokemon from the Alola region that can Mega Evolve. I decided to reveal my own Mega Evolution for this fight in Diantha the Gardevoir. Drampa struck first with Icy Wind before Gardevoir got all of her energy back by one Draining Kiss, then finishing off Drampa with Dazzling Gleam. And by virtue of my win over Vinny, it proved that I'm more than capable of being able to save Lumiose City as my rank got shot up into the stratosphere. My rank just jumped up 15 levels from V all the way to F, which was also the fate of Tawny after she defeated Vinny. As a reward for the victory, Vinny gave us the TM for Safeguard, and my family of Pokemon that can Mega Evolve just got another final stage evolution when Faulkner evolved into Pidgeot. Tanya and I made our way to one of the nearby Nouveau Cafe trucks to celebrate our recent rankings, where we met up with Naveen from Team MZ, who then warned us of a future opponent in the ZA Royale being Kanari, a video gaming live streamer, which I myself am not. But I want to take the time in this video to personally thank each and every one of you who subscribe to me on YouTube, allowing for me to reach 1,400 plus subscribers. Naveen is a huge Kanari fan, who suggested we should not increase our ranking in order to never face Kanari in battle, but eventually we're going to. Tawny also got an important call from Vinny informing us of the fact that there are now 3 Pokemon in danger of suffering from Rogue Mega Evolution, so we all headed back to Hotel Z for a strategy meeting, informing us that we now have to take on 3 Rogue Mega Evolutions in Victory Bell, Camerupt, and Slowbro. And before leaving Hotel Z to carry out our assignments, AZ gave me the Emberite Stone, which means my starter can now Mega Evolve. Speaking of Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, I headed to Wild Zone 10 to catch an Alpha Sharpedo. And while still in the zone, I was able to catch another Pokemon that recently gained a new Mega Evolution in the Kalos region, being one of the Unova region studs in Tynamo. Once I was done exploring Wild Zone 10, I hurriedly teamed up with Tawny to take on Rogue Mega Slowbro first. Slowbro is a bulky Pokemon with a very high physical defense, so I relied on the power of Mega Absol and 2 high critical hit ratio moves in Night Slash and the Ghost Physical Attack Shadow Claw to eventually pacify Rogue Mega Slowbro. Tawny's Meganium also played a role in dealing sizable damage. I then made haste over to where Lita was stationed at and took on Rogue Mega Camerupt. And since Camerupt is a fire and ground type, it made sense to attack with a water type. Thankfully, I had Mega Gyarados on my side to eventually wear down and pacify another Rogue Mega Pokemon. I then teamed up with Naveen in order to calm down Rogue Mega Victory Bell. And since Victory Bell never moved from the center of the area, I had Mega Embor whittle its HP down with Fire Spin before dealing bigger damage with Fire Punch and Heat Crash. earning me 3 brand new Megastones to add to my collection. Before earning another Challenger's ticket, I made it up a building of Rogue District near the shopping mall to catch a Riolu. I then had some tea at 5 straight cafes to max out Riolu's friendship. I officially nicknamed him Riley and evolved Riolu into Lucario. I also nicknamed my Drillbur after BB League Elite 4 Fairy-type Master Lacey and evolved her into Excadrill. After defeating Zygarde, the 10% form in battle, to deepen the bonds with the legendary, I was given by Zygarde a Pebble. Then after that, I was met by a strange-looking man that had worn-down pants and seemingly an old jacket. And he calls himself L. But he does bear a strange resemblance to a certain somebody that used to lead a former evil group that run wild in the Kalos region. L simply wanted to know by my first encounter with him if I was a trainer worthy enough to stand by the side of Zygarde. I simply replied, yes I am, and I'm pretty sure this will not be the last we see of L or Zygarde further down the line. L departs for now, as it's time for me to prepare to increase my rank to E. After surviving the first Rogue Mega Gauntlet, I immediately got a message in my ZA Royale app informing me of my next promotion match, which just so happened to be against F-rank trainer Kanari. That news infuriated Naveen, who still refused to help me out, until I beat him in battle first. Then I headed over to a construction area where a VTubers convention was being held, which gave us the opportunity to actually meet Kanari via a hologram. After passing all the quizzes with Naveen's help, I simply beat this overbearing Kanari Whiz Quiz fan, as my Gabite was simply unstoppable in sweeping his entire team of 3 Pokémon, including his ace Pokémon, a Raichu. It was a beatdown so lopsided, this fan thought his defeat was inconceivable. I made my way over to Racine Construction to meet up with the king of scaffolding in Tarragon, who wanted to test my skills in a Pokemon battle. After defeating his first 3 ground types, I called upon Mega Gyarados to close things out. Gyarados is a water and flying type that loses the flying typing and replaces it with the dark typing when it Mega evolves. Tarragon's final Pokemon was his own Excadrill, which can now Mega evolve in the Kalos region. Excadrill cut down Gyarados with a super effective Swords Dance boosted X-Scissor before it went down to Embor's Fire Punch. It was at that point, after defeating Tarragon, that I learned that he's not only the grandfather of Kanari, he pretended to masquerade as Kanari by using a hologram the entire time while I was at that VTubers convention. After that shocking turn of events, no pun intended, it's finally time to face the real Kanari, who wants to reach rank A to be able to hold video game tournaments all over Lumiose City and throughout the entire Kalos region, which I'm not against, but I'm here to win. Kanari, not surprisingly, is a user of electric types. She leads off with Heliolisk, which also is a part normal type, which is why I chose to start this fight with my Embor. Powering up its attack with Power Up Punch, it eventually scored the KO on Heliolisk with a Fire Punch. Out second for Kanari is the part ground type Stunfisk, so I decided to bring out my own ground type in Gabite, defeating Stunfisk with the combination of Dragon Claw, the super effective Bulldoze, and Fire Fang. The third Pokemon Kanari sent out was her own Ampharos, who proved to be one tough customer, taking Gabite deep into the red with a powerful Dragon Pulse, forcing me to swap in Embor. I wasn't able to get the flinch with Rock Slide, and Embor also was taken deep into the red with the combination of Discharge and another Dragon Pulse before Embor finally scored the KO with a Fire Punch. Down to her last Pokemon, Kanari brought out Electros, another Pokemon from the Unova region that got a big boost with a new Mega Evolved form in Pokemon Legends ZA. My chosen closer for this promotion match was my Alpha Victory Bell, which I also Mega Evolved. After immediately poisoning Electros with Toxic, I was virtually guaranteed victory, considering I had 2 healing moves on Victory Bell being Leech Life and the Grass Stab Giga Drain, before Electros went down to Victory Bell's 3rd attack being Poison Jab. After methodically beating Kanari, I am now rank E. Kanari was downright irate after losing that battle. But once she collected herself, she gave me heartfelt congratulations and the TM for the electric special attack Volt Switch. Kanari also gave me an autographed plush for a certain somebody with a Kanari crush. Back at Hotel Z in order to relax and recuperate, Tani got yet another call from Vinny, informing us that more Rogue Mega Evolution chaos was coming. After another strategy meeting, we were informed that the 3 Pokemon we needed to quell next are Rogue Mega Beedrill, a Rogue Mega Hawlucha, and a Rogue Mega Banette. Now that I'm rank E, Wild Zones 11, 12, and 13 are officially unlocked. I went to Wild Zone 12 first to get some Ice-type Pokemon that can Mega Evolve once they're at their final stages. I ended up catching a Snover and a couple of Snowruns, with the second one being a female. While breaking up Mega Crystals to get Mega Shards to trade to get even more Mega Stones, I heard that oh-so-glorious sound for the first time. After saving the game, I immediately turned around to find it was a full odds shiny Bunnelby. Unfortunately, I can't use this Bunnelby because its final evolution can't Mega Evolve, but it feels good to get a shiny at 1 in 4,096 odds for a change. Wanting to further add to the team, I encountered an Alpha Dratini, which I managed to catch after weakening it with my Gardevoir. Searching for more possible Mega Evolution family members, I was on top of a shopping arcade in the city where I found a Scraggy. And not too far away, I also found another Pokemon that was an Alpha that can Mega Evolve in Hawlucha, which was pretty tough at first, but after Pidgeot weakened it, I zoomed in for the capture. And while breaking more Mega Crystals to max out on Mega Shards, I heard that oh-so-familiar sound again. I was on the mindset of preparing Pokemon for the ZA Royale once again to earn my next Challenger's ticket, when I found my golden ticket in this full odds shiny Magikarp, which I didn't hesitate to catch in a dive ball. That's 2 1 in 4,096 odds shiny catches in the span of an hour of gameplay. A pretty exciting feat. After finding a Dawnstone in the wild, I used it on my female Snowrunt, evolving it into Frostlass before hurrying over to Tawny as we teamed up in the attempt to pacify Rogue Mega Beedrill, a Pokemon that is dangerous but with paper-thin defenses. So I decided to use Mega Pidgeot to do some serious work on the Bug and Poison type. Once Mega Evolved, Pidgeot did massive damage with the quartet of moves being Hurricane, Heat Wave, Air Slash, and Wing Attack. I next joined Lita as we took on my favorite of the brand new Mega Evolutions in this game, Rogue Mega Hawlucha. I used Mega Gardevoir for this fight, knocking out Hawlucha in short order with a relentless flurry of super effective attacks being Thunderbolt, Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, and Draining Kiss. Before going up against Rogue Mega Banette, I headed over to the Stone Emporium to purchase an Old Amber, then headed over to the research lab, revive that fossil so I can get the Kanto region rock and flying type fossil Aerodactyl. After trading Mega Shards to get Mega Stones, I quickly evolved Gabite into Garchomp at level 48, and it automatically learns the Dark Physical Attack Crunch, which I made sure was in Garchomp's moveset, as I chose Garchomp to be the one to face off against Rogue Mega Banette. This Rogue Mega fight was truly a step in difficulty, having to fight off multiple copies of Banette while dodging Shadow Claws and Shadow Balls. The power of Mega Garchomp was just too great, securing us another knockout. And in turn, I got 3 more brand new Mega Stones. Returning to Hotel Z, I got another promotion match announcement. This time it pairs me up against Ivor from the Fists of Justice, so I needed to make necessary preparations. I caught an Alpha Slowpoke in Wild Zone 10, which I quickly evolved into Slowbro. While completing some side missions, I was able to find the technical machine for the fighting physical attack Brick Break, which is great to power up all my fighting type Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. I also beefed up my family of Pokemon by evolving 5 of them to a shiny Gyarados, Camerupt, Altaria, Medicham, and Electros. Preparing to take on Ivor next, I headed over to a hair salon to finally change my hairstyle. But in order to challenge Ivor, I needed to find his sister in the Lumiose sewers. With Detective Emma's help, we started our search. But along the way in finding Gwen, I was able to find the TM for Crunch and catch a pair of Litwick, which was a swift transition of things to come the moment we found Gwen, who immediately challenged me to battle. After defeating her first 2 ghost types with Gyarados, I swapped in Mega Garchomp to deal with Gwen's ace, a fully evolved Mega Chandelure, which is my second favorite new Mega Evolution, only trailing Hawlucha. Chandelure protected from Garchomp's Shadow Claw, but eventually fell victim to a Dragon Claw Bulldoze combo. I finally made my way over to the Justice Dojo to take on Ivor for my next promotion match. Ivor's goal, if he reaches rank A, is to get rid of every single wild zone in this city so that wild Pokemon can roam free with humans. Ivor has a team of 4 strong fighting types, so I brought along my own team of 4 to combat him. Yet I only needed one of my 4 chosen Pokemon to take his entire team down in Diantha the Gardevoir. I was not fooling around as I immediately Mega Evolved before making my first move. Gardevoir did take some punishment from Ivor's first 2 Pokemon, Heracross and Medicham, before Gardevoir took them both out. Diantha was back up to full HP after using a Draining Kiss to heal and knocking out Ivor's 3rd Pokemon, Machamp. Ivor's 4th Pokemon is Phalanx, a Pokemon from the Galar region, and the first Pokemon from Gen 8 that can now Mega Evolve. If I were to make a tier maker list right now, Phalanx is an S tier new Mega. It nearly one-shot Gardevoir with a powerful Iron Head before Phalanx got absolutely destroyed by Gardevoir's Psychic, securing me another victory in the ZA Royale and a clean sweep for Mega Gardevoir, increasing my rank to rank D. Diantha was definitely delightful. Before heading back to Hotel Z, Ivor gave me the TM for Bulk Up. Now a rank higher, greater challenges lie ahead. And this latest challenge proved to be a dire one, especially for Tawny. As I woke up, I learned along with Naveen through Lita that Tawny borrowed money, a large sum of money, from the nefarious Rust Syndicate. Before getting to the bottom of the situation, I further progressed levels in Mabel's research to get the TM for Earthquake, which I immediately taught Garchomp and put into good use in catching all 3 spawning Larvitar atop Wild Zone 15. Lita and I made our way to the Rust Syndicate office, where we were greeted by their right-hand man Philippe, who wanted to test my skills with another Pokemon battle. Garchomp and Emboar handled his first 2 steel types, but then Felipe revealed his ace Pokemon was Skarmory, another Pokemon that got a new Mega Evolution. And I absolutely like it. Skarmory did sizable damage to Mega Emboar with a super effective drill run before it gets knocked out in one swift fire punch. Now, making our way into the office, we met with the boss of the Rust Syndicate, Corbeau. That's when we learned that Tawny borrowed $100,000 from the Rust Syndicate and has racked up $1 million in debt. At least we made it out of there in one piece. Now it was up to the rest of Team MZ to help Tawny pay off the interest. Returning to Hotel Z safely, Tawny got another call from Vinny informing us of 3 more Pokemon suffering from potential rogue Mega Evolution. The 3 Pokemon we had to deal with this time was a Mawile, a Barbaracle, and an Ampharos. But before taking all of them on, I evolved my Alpha Dratini all the way to Dragonite. I caught a Shuppet in Wild Zone 15 now that it was unlocked since I'm rank D, quickly evolving Shuppet into a Banette. I also evolved an Electrike that I caught earlier into Manectric. And I found a Duskstone to evolve Litwick all the way to Chandelure. I was fully intent on helping out Tawny, but she decided to assist me in taking on Rogue Mega Mawile. Once again, it was Mega Emboar that had the best matchup, weakening Mawile with Fire Spin before attacking with some super effective attacks like Heat Crash and Earthquake. Up second, I teamed up with Lita to take on Rogue Mega Barbaracle, a water and rock type that loses the water typing when it Mega evolves and gains the secondary fighting typing. Either way, I decided to use Mega Victory Bell for this fight. I nearly blacked out when Barbaracle focused its attacks on me, especially hitting hard with a close combat, before it also went down to Victory Bell's Giga Drain. I also relied on Victory Bell's powerful Leaf Storm for even more damage. I then joined the Veen to take on Rogue Mega Ampharos next. Naturally, Ampharos is pure electric, but gains the secondary dragon typing when it Mega evolves. That's why I left this one up to Mega Gardevoir, who's immune to dragon type attacks due to its fairy typing. And down went Rogue Mega Ampharos, giving me 3 more Mega Stones to add to my collection. Well, after getting another challenger's ticket, I had to do some free labor for the Rust Syndicate in order to help Tawny pay off her loan, including getting rid of some squatters, and I caught one of them in one of the Kanto region goats' Gengar. Before leaving the home, I stumbled across a portrait of Professor Laventon from my favorite Pokemon game of all time, Legends Arceus. I returned to the Rust Syndicate office alone to meet with Corbeau for a very interesting meeting where I learned that my next promotion match just so happened to be against Corbeau himself. The reason why Corbeau summoned me into his office by myself was because he wanted to have a no-holds-barred Pokemon battle with me, so this was perfect timing for both of us. Corbeau is a cool customer that has a nasty team of 4 Pokemon, 3 of which are poison types. Time for me to bring the boss down to a crashing halt, as Corbeau leads off with Arbok. My chosen lead for this fight is Cynthia the Garchomp. Arbok was never able to land a hit on Garchomp, who wiped out Arbok in one hit with Earthquake. However, the slippery snake managed to land a Toxic on Garchomp, leaving it badly poisoned, as Corbeau summoned in Gyarados next. After striking with a quad-effective Thunderfang, Garchomp was taken down to half of its health by Gyarados' Dragon Rush, so I swapped in Gardevoir, who withstood both a bounce and a waterfall before wiping out Gyarados with Thunderbolt. Any attack from Corbeau's next Pokemon Roserade would end Gardevoir's night, so I swapped in Pidgeot to deal with the Sinnoh region Grass and Poison type, taking out Roserade with the combination of Hurricane and Air Slash. I quickly pivot switched Pidgeot out and brought in Emboar to deal with Corbeau's ace Pokemon, Scolipede, a Bug and Poison type. Yet another Pokemon from the Unova region that got a brand new Mega Evolution. But I was the one who Mega Evolved Emboar first. Mega Scolipede has a very high physical defense stat, but painfully low speed, which was why Emboar was able to do big time damage with Fire Punch even through Scolipede's Protect. After the two Pokemon traded Earthquakes to do damage to each other, a second Fire Punch from Emboar ended the fight. This was the first promotion match this entire run that I felt really good about and how I performed, as I increased my ranking to rank C. After the boss went down to defeat, Corbo and I exchanged fist bumps, but he also gave me the TM for the hard-hitting poison physical attack, Gunk Shot. Battling Corbo was tons of fun, but when he offered me a spot in the Rust Syndicate, I politely told him, forget about it. Later on that night, Corbo stunningly spent it in Hotel Z, much to the chagrin of everyone in Team MZ, especially Tawny, but Corbo, being a man of his word, forgave Tawny's loan, including a more than generous tip. Tawny was finally debt-free. Now at rank C, Wild Zone 16 and 17 are unlocked. I visited Wild Zone 16 first to catch a Phalanx, and considering how Ivor's Mega Phalanx looks so nice, I knew I needed one for myself. I then said a prayer before entering Wild Zone 17, dodging a constant barrage of Earth Power attacks from a pride of angry Pyroar, catching one of the 5 females that was there. When it was nighttime, I cleared out all the Pyroars, including a guaranteed alpha male. That way I had more than enough room to zap an aggressive Skarmory out of the sky before eventually catching it. And since it takes 5 minutes before the Pyroar eventually respawn, I had more than enough time left to climb atop a roof to battle and catch an alpha Mawile. After getting out of dodge, I encountered a taxi driver that was tending to a very feisty Chespin that wanted to battle the actual taxi cab. So I had to teach Chespin a lesson by sending out Pidgeot, knocking some sense into that Chespin with 3 straight Brave Bird attacks. And since Chespin was able to withstand that kind of punishment, it decided it wanted to join my family, giving me my second starter Pokemon from the native Kalos region, joining Fennekin. I then traveled to Magenta Sector 7 to find myself and catch a male Ralts. It was already at a level where I could evolve it to Kirlia, and since I had another Dawnstone, I evolved it into a Gallade. The final Kalos starter Pokemon is my favorite of the trio, Water Starter Froakie. In order to obtain Froakie, I needed to complete 3 straight scaffolding courses and a set number of time, needing to finish faster to complete all 3 courses, breaking the record of Froakie in the process. The first course was only 30 seconds. The second course was 40 seconds, and I needed to beat the third and final course, that was the longest of the 3, in under 50 seconds. And I managed to beat all 3 of them on the first try. A feat made even easier considering I waited until after Tawny taught me how to use Rotoglide. And since all of that was all it took, I earned the stamp of approval from Froakie, making me worthy enough to earn the responsibility of being its trainer. All 3 side mission Kalos starter Pokemon are shiny locked, but they are guaranteed to have 3 best IVs, just like the Kanto starters from Professor Mabel, and the starters between Tepig, Chikorita, and Totodile that you get to choose at the start of a playthrough. While gathering with Team MZ for some tea at a cafe truck, we were interrupted by Liban from the Society of Battle Connoisseurs. She was given the task of cordially inviting myself and Tawny to an exclusive and private Pokemon battle tournament held at Hotel Richissime at the request of the SPC's leader, Lady Jacinthe. Tawny was quick to accept the invitation, while I was reluctant, but still accepted anyway, especially after hearing the ominous words out of Liban's mouth. In order to keep up with the high standards of all those socialites, I was gifted free clothes from the Boutique Couture, which I was more than happy to change into. Tawny and I made our way to that lavish hotel as Liban introduced us to the battle room, where we were greeted by none other than Lady Jacinth, an amazingly well-dressed woman with a wardrobe so gorgeous it could make even Vanna White a little bit jealous. Jacinth's also a pretty good matchmaker, as she personally recruited all of the top trainers in Lumiose City to participate in this tournament, which has to take a backseat for Tawny and I, as Vinny called Tawny from out of the blue to let us know there's 3 more Pokemon rampaging in the city that could potentially explode at any moment with Rogue Mega Evolution power. So Tawny and I had to leave Hotel Richissime for a while, in spite of the desperate efforts by Liban to keep us locked in that room until the tournament was over. Honestly, I do feel sorry for Liban. For the 4th time in this run, Team MZ is once again on the case of trying to quell 3 more Pokemon on the verge of Rogue Mega Evolving, in the likes of Frostlass, Venusaur, and Altaria. I chose to go with Naveen first, as we took on Rogue Mega Frostlass, a Ghost and Ice type. It wasn't the hardest of battles at all, especially when you have a Mega Emboar. Frostlass put up a valiant effort once it was down to the limits of his health by landing a freeze on Emboar, forcing me to use a full restore before finishing Mega Frostlass off. I next joined Tawny as we combined our efforts in trying to pacify Rogue Mega Venusaur, the Kanto region grass starter, the first starter I ever chose in a Pokemon game, which was Pokemon Blue. It was tricky early on, but I was able to end the fight by defeating Rogue Mega Venusaur with Mega Pidgeot. I next teamed up with Lita, as we squared off against Rogue Mega Altaria, a dragon and flying type, but once Mega evolved, Altaria becomes fluffier and sheds off the flying typing to become the first and only dragon and fairy dual typing in Pokemon history. I simply countered with my own fairy type in Gardevoir, securing me yet another victory over a Rogue Mega and 3 more Mega Stones. After pacifying 3 more Rogue Megas, I returned to Hotel Z with a not-so-peaceful easy feeling, as there was commotion going on outside. Tawny went out to investigate, so myself, Naveen, and Lita joined her. And now we found out exactly what was the big idea, as there was a strange purple-colored battle zone blocking our path, which can only mean one thing. The SPC was out to get us, to make sure we enter their tournament. A very prideful and self-centered Jacinth was the one that created this battle zone, calling it the Jacinth Zone. This crazy lady simply couldn't take no for an answer, as she forced us to battle 2 SPC socialites and her right-hand lady, Liban, who warned us of Jacinth's snotty attitude. I quickly defeated the first 2 socialites, which prompted for Liban to offer up in healing my Pokemon, which I graciously accepted. But once Liban sent the other 2 socialites on their way back to their hotel, Liban's once nice personality took a creepy 180-degree turn. At that point, I knew I was in for a dogfight, as Liban challenged me to battle with her 4 Pokemon that are all dragon types. After taking out her first 2 Pokemon, Noivern and Tyrantrum, I was forced to Mega Evolve Gardevoir just to get by her 3rd Pokemon, which was her own Garchomp. Gardevoir secured the KO with Dazzling Gleam after Liban's Garchomp effortlessly took 2 of my Pokemon out with Swords Dance boosted Dragon Claws and Earthquakes. I then summoned in my own Garchomp to go against Liban's ace Pokemon, Mega Dragalge, a special defensive powerhouse, so I knew I needed to attack on the physical side with Garchomp. Liban wisely had Dragalge use Protect to avoid being knocked out by an Earthquake. After both Pokemon simultaneously hit each other with super effective Dragon-type moves, Garchomp secured the KO and the win with Bulldoze. It was the kind of battle Liban was thirsting for, even though she took the loss. But Liban wanted to go at it again, until we agreed to join Jacint's tournament, which Tanya and I were going to go back to anyway. After Liban reminded us of how cruel Jacint can be, after losing to Jacint in a match 2 years prior, I got another announcement on my Rotom phone, which informed me that my next promotion match was going to be against Lady Jacint. So I had no other choice but to go back to Hotel Richissimi in order to grant Jacint her wish so that the tournament can go on as she planned it. At the very least, Liban got rid of that stupid zone to allow for Tawny and myself to go back to that hotel and get this over with. After earning yet another Challenger's ticket, I was able to evolve 4 more Pokemon to their final stage evolutions, including all 3 Kalos region starter Pokemon to Greninja, Chestnut, and Delphox. Then I was finally able to evolve one of the Venipede I caught in Wild Zone 5 all the way to Scolipede. Tanya and I returned to Hotel Richissimi, both eager wanting to increase our ranking to rank B as soon as possible, while all the other trainers there were cranky, being trapped inside the hotel with another one of those silly Jacint zones. What's even more sillier than that is that tournament bracket, but fortunately for me, I faced familiar competition, once again facing the previous 3 trainers that I had to beat to increase my ranking, first taking down Canari's team, then Ivor's team, before finishing off Corbo's Mega Scolipede with Embor once again. This tournament was about to be over as I was going to face Jacint in the finals, before I was interrupted by Zygarde, who wished to battle me once again. So without any further hesitation, Jacint decided to put Zygarde on that ridiculous tournament bracket just to see me battle the legendary. Dozens of Zygarde cells started crawling on the battlefield, allowing for Zygarde to morph into its 50% form. This was certainly no walk in the park. After weakening Zygarde with Gyarados, I had Garchomp clean things up, securing the victory with a Dragon Claw Earthquake combination. After the bout, Zygarde changed back into its 10% form, pleased that it got to battle me once again. After that thrilling warm-up, it was finally time to get on with this promotion match, as I now aimed to get my rank up to rank B, going up against Lady Jacint. Her goal in reaching rank A is to bring happiness to the people of Lumiose City by making each and every one of them into the strongest trainer they can be. Hit the music! Jacint's battle theme is without question the best in all of Pokemon Legends ZA, but I knew I needed to focus going up against her team of fairy types, including her lead Pokemon Carbink, who set up Stealth Rocks. That's why I forced Carbink into coming toward Gyarados, who ended up getting the KO with the combination of Waterfall and a quad-effective Iron Head, forcing Jacint to bring out the part Steel type Mawile second. I brought out my own Steel type in Lucario, then pulled a bait and switch, quickly swapping in Embor to crush Mawile with Heat Crash. Now Jacint gets some style points as she brings out her own Gardevoir. I pulled an Ash Ketchum move and brought in Garchomp, who's weak to Fairy. Garchomp annihilated Jacint's Gardevoir with the combination of Iron Tail and Poison Jab, and her Gardevoir never even used Moonblast. Jacint's penultimate Pokemon is a Rock and Ice-type fossil Aurorus, which I had the perfect counter for, as Lucario destroyed Aurorus with back-to-back quad-effective hits, Bullet Punch and Brick Break, leaving Jacint with only one Pokemon, her ace being a Clefable. I decided to flex on Jacint by beating her team of fancy fairies with a fairy of my own in my recently caught Alpha Mawile, which I Mega Evolved immediately. In one split second, Jacint Mega Evolved her Clefable, gaining a set of wings and a secondary flying typing. After shortening the critical hit damage from Stone Edge by using Protect, Mega Clefable struck back with Mystical Fire before going down to the Mega Mawile combination of Ice Punch and Iron Head for the win. Chalk up yet another victory in the ZA Royale for yours truly. putting me one rank closer to achieving one of my goals. After that fight was over, Jacinth congratulated me and even led a standing ovation. But I can pretty much guarantee that everyone in that room was clapping over the fact that Jacinth got beat rather than me defeating her, because now everyone can finally go home. In spite of those savvy sentiments, I was awarded the TM for Play Rough, a hard-hitting fairy-type physical attack. And what has been a recurring theme here in Lumiose, I got another congratulatory fist bump from Jacinth as I was finally out of that hotel as a rank B trainer. Before searching out my rank A opponent, Tawny got another call from Vinny suggesting there are 3 more Pokemon that could potentially go rogue, one of which was not this Alpha Salamence I caught in Wild Zone 18. I also went into Wild Zone 2 to catch an Alpha Staryu. I then returned to Hotel Z for yet another strategy meeting with the crew, as Lita informed us the 3 Pokemon suffering from Rogue Mega Evolution energy this time are Dragonite, Tyranitar, and Starmie. And since all 3 Rogue Mega Evolution battles are at level 59, I was able to make some evolutions to some of my family members, evolving Binacle into Barbaracle. With High Friendship, I evolved the Baneri I caught earlier in the run to Lopunny, and I also evolved the Snover that I caught in Wild Zone 12 into a Abomasnow. I elected to challenge Rogue Mega Tyranitar first alongside Naveen. Tyranitar is a hard-hitting pseudo-legendary from the Johto region that packs a Wicked Stone Edge, a rock physical attack that has a heightened chance of landing a critical hit. I decided to hit even harder by using Mega Garchomp for this fight. Packing Garchomp with super effective attacks like Earthquake, Brick Break, Bulldoze, and Iron Head, we were able to secure the victory without much trouble. Tawny and I couldn't say the same against the next Rogue Mega Pokemon, Dragonite. Before getting Dragonite down to half health, it unleashes a powerful attack that fires off hurricanes and thunderstorms at once. Once you get it below half of its health, Dragonite launches a devastating Hyper Beam in the center of the field, always leaving the player down to 1 HP before Dragonite swoops down from above to try to take you out. I had to use 3 max potions on Mega Gardevoir in order to keep up, before being able to secure the victory with a blindsided Moonblast. The final Rogue Mega Evolution battle of this fight is against Mega Starmie. This gave me the opportunity to finally invoke the Shiny Claws, as I replaced my original Gyarados with this Shiny Gyarados, Mega Evolving it as soon as possible to make it a Water and Dark type, giving Gyarados the same type attack bonus to both its Bite and Crunch attacks, which are both super effective against the fellow Water type Starmie, considering it's also a Psychic type. All 16 Rogue Mega Evolutions in this run have been pacified, allowing for me to add 3 more Mega Stones to my collection. After completing another successful Rogue Mega mission, I learned through the ZA Royale app that my next opponent is the mysterious Grisham. So mysterious, in fact, that no one knew exactly who this Grisham guy was. So Tawny and I headed over to Liquor Bureau, meeting up with Detective Emma in order to get some well-needed information. In exchange for what Emma seemingly knew, she challenged me to a Pokemon battle with her team of 5. Emboar easily took out the first 4, then I swapped in Mega Victreebel to take on Emma's ace in Malamar, another Pokemon that got a new Mega Evolution form. After withstanding Psycho Cut, Victreebel's quad-effective Leech Life took down Mega Malamar. That's when Emma told us about Team Flare, leading us to the research lab where Professor Mabel gave us even more information as to who Grisham is. After a candid conversation, Mabel suggested we head over to the Centrical Plaza Nouveau Cafe. Once I arrived there, I was able to locate Grisham, who revealed himself to me that he's not only my future opponent for the right to reach rank A, he's also the boss of Team Flare Nouveau. I was then led over to Lysander Cafe, a once thriving business area that is nothing more than a house for wild Pokémon now. But before entering the cafe, Grizel challenged me to a Pokémon battle, and this is when it started getting serious. Fortunately, it started to rain in Lumiose, so I led off with Shiny Gyarados to easily take care of Grizel's first two Pokémon, Talonflame and Camerupt. Gyarados ran into a little bit of trouble, and since it was vulnerable to being knocked out by Stone Edge, I swapped in Garchomp to finish off Aerodactyl. But momentum started to shift in Grizel's favor when she brought out the Hoenn region pseudo-legendary Metagross, who immediately took out Garchomp with one quad-effective Ice Punch. Emboar was able to take Metagross deep into the yellow before it too went down to Metagross' second Psycho Cut. My new fully evolved Tyranitar was able to get it done in crunch time, forcing Grizel to bring out her ace Pokemon in Pyroar, who, believe it or not, also has a brand new Mega Evolution, which looks the same regardless if it's male like Grizel's Pyroar is, or the female like mine. I then Mega Evolved Tyranitar, using Giga Impact to get close enough to finish off Pyroar and this match with Stone Edge. Now in the cafe, Prism tells us about the ultimate weapon that was fired off 5 years ago, also telling me that the ultimate weapon was created by none other than AZ. After that all too familiar open sesame password, he gives us access to Lysander Labs, which is now housed by several wild Pokemon, and I caught one of them being a Beldum. After fighting my way through an Alpha Aegislash to get the elevator key, that's when I basically got a recap of the story of Pokemon X and Y. I was greeted by Zygarde and L, which many of you should know at this point is Lysander. He tells us that his memory is slowly coming back to him, and a little bit about AZ, and a device that still dwells in Prism Tower. When the ultimate weapon was fired 5 years ago, it activated the device inside Prism Tower, which caused Mega Evolution energy to spill from it. Lysander originally was going to fire off both weapons in order to create a perfect world for himself and Team Flare, except one thing was missing. He needed the power of Eternal Flower Floette. Returning to Hotel Z for the umpteenth time, I met up with the rest of Team MZ and AZ, who revealed to us his troubled past. AZ resurrected his precious Floette 3,000 years ago by creating a device that still dwells within Prism Tower. He later turned that same machine into the ultimate weapon, which drove Floette away. He later built Ange inside Prism Tower to share eternal life, but peace came before he could use it. But when the weapon fired off a second time, Ange reactivated on its own, causing the mega power contained within it to spill forth. And the only way to stop the pain is by using Mega Floette, which is exactly what Grisham wants to do if he reaches rank A. And by winning the ZA Royale, Grisham feels that will be enough to redeem the name of Team Flare. This bout is about to burst with fiery intensity, as Grisham is equipped with a full team of 6. I actually started this fight off with Frostlass, but the moment Grisham revealed his first Pokemon as Pangoro, I immediately swapped out and brought in Gardevoir, who finished off Pangoro in one hit with a quad-effective Moonblast. I then swapped out Gardevoir and brought in Alpha Hawlucha to go up against Malamar. Hawlucha got the first attack in with a quad-effective lunge, which lowered Malamar's attack stat. Malamar failed to hit Hawlucha with a Side Shock because I had Hawlucha go high up into the air with Bounce, then finish Malamar off with Brick Break. Grisham then summoned in his own Tyranitar. Since it was going to attack with Stone Edge, I swapped Hawlucha out and brought in Emboar, which was very ill-advised, as it almost got wiped out by Earthquake, then was knocked out by a Crunch after Emboar struck with a quad-effective Brick Break. The reason for the switch was because I knew Tyranitar had Ice Punch, so I swapped Hawlucha back in to finish off Tyranitar with a quad-effective Flying Press. Hawlucha was switched out again as Salamence hit the field. I brought back in Frostlass, who did sizable damage with a quad-effective Ice Beam. After nearly being taken out by Fire Fang, Frostlass sealed Salamence's fate with Draining Kiss. Grisham's penultimate Pokemon is his own female Pyroar, not wanted to be barbecued by a fire move, I swapped in Shiny Gyarados to take out Pyroar with the combination of Waterfall and Earthquake. Once Gyarados disposed of Pyroar, I immediately swapped in Garchomp to throw down against Grisham's ace, the Kanto region fire starter Charizard. Not wasting a breath, I immediately Mega Evolved Garchomp, as Grisham did the same, evolving into Mega Charizard X, making Charizard a Fire and Dragon type, which now means Charizard is vulnerable to ground type attacks and will take super effective damage from Dragon type moves. Garchomp was a step ahead and struck with Dragon Claw before Charizard could protect itself. Then I had the Chomp dig underground, and once Charizard missed Dragon Rush, it was game over, making me the highest ranked trainer and the strongest Mega Evolution user in all of Lumiose City, officially reaching rank A. Once again returning to Hotel Z, I ate dinner with everyone in Team MZ, when Tawny announced to everyone that she too reached rank A. But before we can all get a well-deserved rest, a loud explosion reverberated all over Lumiose City, and the source of it was at Prism Tower. All of us joined AZ and Eternal Floette atop the roof of the hotel, and AZ's worst fears were once again happening, as Prism Tower was bathed in Mega Evolution energy. And if no one was able to stop the madness soon, all of Lumiose City is about to get ravaged by rogue Mega Evolved Pokémon. We were once again contacted by Vinny. It was up to Team MZ to answer the call as we headed over to Centrico Plaza and Prism Tower. AZ was not able to join us this time because he felt that he would slow us down if he joined, but Eternal Floette did indeed make the trip along with us. Tawny wanted to be the one to Mega Evolve Floette and stop the tower from going wild, so she challenged me to one final battle to prove who the strongest trainer between us is. I immediately obliged, and a battle between two rank A trainers commenced. As the leader of Team MZ, Tawny is a very confident trainer that believes in her abilities of being the one to save Lumiose City, but I have that same type of drive to do the same thing. Tawny leads off with her female Meowstic, and I decided to lead with Tyranitar. Meowstic loves to set up screens. That's why I had Tyranitar use Brick Break to shatter the Reflect. After being tickled by a Thunderbolt, a super effective Crunch took Meowstic down to the red before it went down to an Earthquake, which prevented Meowstic from setting up a light screen. I switched out Tyranitar seeing that Goodra was about to use Toxic, which meant Gardevoir ended up getting poisoned, but Diantha was relentless, hitting Goodra with everything she had before wiping out the pseudo-legendary from Kalos with a Moonblast. Not wanting Gardevoir to succumb to poison, I swapped in Lucario to deal with the third Pokemon that Tawny sent out in the physically built defensive tank in Avalugg. I didn't have any special attacks on Lucario for this fight, so I simply had Lucario get in Avalugg's face and kept pounding down until Avalugg eventually was done in by Lucario's third Brick Break. Tawny's fourth Pokemon is the Johto Grass starter Meganium, who wanted to set up a Leech Seed. Seeing it come out, I swapped in my starter, Chili the Emboar, once again setting up a Fire Spin to constantly do super effective damage before Meganium burned down to Emboar's Flamethrower. Tawny's fifth Pokemon is Manectric, so I decided to sub in Frostlass, who immediately got her special attack lowered when it was struck by a super effective Snarl. With Frostlass crippled for a while, she was never able to recover once Manectric delivered a powerful Overheat Thunder combination for the KO. Manectric lowered its own special attack stat down by a stage when it connected with Overheat, and with Manectric powered down, I swapped Tyranitar back in to short-circuit Manectric with an Earthquake. After substituting Tyranitar out in favor of Dragonite, Tawny's final Pokemon is the Johto Water starter for Alligator, the starter I chose for my very first playthrough of Pokemon Legends ZA as a Totodile. I gave Tawny the common courtesy of Mega Evolving first, revealing Mega for Alligator. And not so shortly after, I decided to Mega Evolve Dragonite. For Alligator adds the Dragon typing when it Mega Evolves, which makes it vulnerable to moves like Dragon Rush and Outrage. See you later for Alligator. Defeating Tawny once again settles the score, as I am truly the strongest Mega Evolution trainer in all of Lumiose City. Despite suffering defeat, Tawny still insisted that she'd be the one to Mega Evolve Eternal Flower Floette and head up to the Prism Tower in the hopes of saving Lumiose and put an end to the rampage of Ange Floette. So I figured, why not? Might as well let her do this. As we all got a first-hand look at Mega Floette, whose black flowers spread out, making it look like it too is an ultimate weapon. As Tawny and Mega Floette ascended to the top of the tower, Mega Floette flew all the way to the center. But instead of controlling the energy, it was Ange Floette who took complete control, causing all of the Mega energy emitting from it to overflow and pour out, busting through the windows of the tower. Ange Floette is now in a frenzied state, ready to destroy anything and anyone that dares to go near it. To make matters even worse, all that energy spilling forth was causing Pokémon to undergo Rogue Mega Evolution, including a Gengar and a Heracross, which Team MZ and I were able to fight off and pacify together. This situation called for yet another strategy meeting, this time being joined by all the other top trainers in Lumiose City, who were more than willing to lend a helping hand. The mission was clear, and that is to somehow clear a path for me to reach Zygarde in the Magenta District. This started a speed run of a gauntlet where I had to pacify even more Rogue Mega Pokémon, as I met up with Ivor and Gwen from the Fists of Justice in calming down 3 Rogue Mega Pokémon, being Kangaskhan, Garchomp, and Pidgeot. After that part was clear, I got yet another fist bump, this time from Gwen. The next part of this gauntlet saw me team up with Canary, as we ended up pacifying 2 Rogue Megas of Blastoise and Steelix. After we bumped fists with each other, Tarragon returned and created the largest scaffolding course I had to clear in order to continue my mission of meeting up with Zygarde. Needless to say, I felt a rush of adrenaline after completing that course, which is a good thing considering I needed all the adrenaline I could get as I teamed up with Liban from the SPC as we took on and pacified 2 more Rogue Mega Evolutions in Salamence and Aggron. Our teamwork was unstoppable. I then headed to Lumiose's largest shopping arcade, where I was greeted by 2 Rogue Mega Evolutions in Gardevoir and Gallade, which is pretty cool for me, but I still needed to do my job as I teamed up with Corbeau from the Rust Syndicate. This gave me the opportunity to finally use my favorite of the new Mega Evolutions in Hawlucha. Corbeau singled out Gallade, leaving Gardevoir up to me to pacify, which Hawlucha was able to accomplish with the combination of Iron Head and U-Turn. Give a gigantic assist to the Rust Syndicate for creating a human ladder, enabling for me to climb up to the rooftop where my next challenge awaited me. It was another showdown against 3 more Rogue Mega Evolutions in Alakazam, Metagross, and Aerodactyl. This time, I was joined by Grisham and Grizel of Team Flare Nouveau, who shares the same ideals and goals as I have of wanting to protect all of Lumiose City. Once those 3 Rogue Megas were pacified, I got another congratulatory fist bump from the 2 of them together. I finally was able to reach Zygarde, as it was time for the final confrontation against Hyper Rogue Ange Floette at Prism Tower. Every single Zygarde cell came together, including the last one that hopped off the top of my right shoulder, to join the other cells, allowing for Zygarde to morph into its 100% complete form. This fight against Hyper Rogue and Floette is a 3-stage battle. For all 3 phases, you must deplete the energy of the blue and red flowers in succession to the point where they don't have any energy left, giving Zygarde an opening to land an attack. The attacks coming from both flowers are obscenely powerful, but Mega Gardevoir was able to sweep the first phase of this fight with constant healing by using Wish and Draining Kiss while landing attacks in. I also made sure Gardevoir was strapped with its 2 most powerful stab moves, being Moonblast and Psychic, which allowed for Gardevoir to take both flowers down. With Ange Floette down to a quarter of its health bar and in a weakened state, it's time for Zygarde to get his hit in. And I selected one of its signature ground physical attacks in Land's Wrath. Ange Floette is now down to a third of its health bar, opening off the second phase by firing off a huge shot into the sky. However, Zygarde created a shield for me to hide underneath it, as bits and pieces from the Light of Ruin attack was showering down. I relied on the tag team of Mega Lucario and Mega Emboar to carry me through the second phase, with Emboar's Fire Spin coming in mighty handy and constantly whittling away at the energy of the blue flower, enabling for Zygarde to get another attack in. For this occasion, I called for Zygarde to land its other ground physical signature attack, 1,000 Arrows, and just like that, Ange Floette is down to under half of its health bar. The third and final phase is the most difficult one. There is a magnetic force field around both flowers. If you get close to either of them, they will do continuous and consistent damage to your Pokémon. That's why I needed to attack from a distance with Mega Frostlass to put down the red flower at last. With the safety of Lumiose in complete jeopardy, I put everything on the line when I Mega Evolved Dragonite, who was able to get 2 good attacks in before finally taking down the blue flower with a Hyper Beam. This was the perfect time for Zygarde to strike one more time, as I made the call for Zygarde to deliver its dragon signature attack, Core Enforcer. Ange Floette's rampage was over at last. It was a resounding victory for me, my Pokémon, Team MZ, and all of the greatest traders around Lumiose City. Along with Quasartico Incorporated's efforts, we collectively saved our town from being destroyed forever. But it appears that Ange Floette has a little bit of fight left in it. That dramatic ending of the base game truly hit me in the feels, but I still felt the need to establish my credibility by making sure AZ's legacy lives on by competing in the infinite ZA Royale, racking up victories by the dozens because that's what I do, and that's who I am as a Pokemon trainer. My Alpha Dragonite and Lucario owned the Lumiose City nightlife to the point where I earned my 15th Challenger's ticket, which gave me the right to face Tawny one more time. For this fight, Tawny had AZ's Floette as her ace Pokemon, also Mega Evolving it. But unfortunately for her, my Mega Excadrill was just too strong, as it was able to pummel Mega Floette into submission with a destructive Iron Head. And even though nothing was on the line in this battle, Tawny insisted I'd keep AZ's Floette as its partner. A responsibility I will never take for granted. And on top of that, I was also awarded the Floetteite Stone, which means I can now Mega Evolve Floette whenever I have the opportunity to do so. Still, there was some unfinished business I needed to take care of, so I just kept on battling in the infinite ZA Royale, all the way to the point where I was able to win my 1,000th consecutive match. I completed every single research task that Professor Mabel threw at me, and as a reward for that, I obtained the Shiny Charm, which increases my shiny odds to 1 in 1,025. Still, I needed to catch 3 more Pokemon in order to complete the Lumiose City Pokédex, and they are all the Kalos region legendaries. I unleashed the venom of Mega Gengar to defeat and eventually catch the legendary Xerneas, the one that gives. That put me at 228 out of 230. I then unleashed the power of Mega Aggron to defeat and catch the legendary Yveltal, the one that takes. And once I managed to capture that bacon bird on my very first attempt in an Ultra Ball, I headed back to Hotel Z to meet up with my friends. But I got promptly challenged by Lysander to a full 6-on-6 battle. This was the perfect time for me to bring off the bench the might of the Heracross I got in the trade, enabling for me to use Mega Heracross for the first time in battle. After a slick toss and catch of his Keystone, Lysander evolved his vintage ace Pokemon Gyarados into its Mega Evolution form, but Mega Heracross was able to secure a quick victory with the combination of Brick Break and Mega Horn. After the battle was over, I was confronted by the third legendary, the Big Bad Zygarde, who led me over to Wild Zone 20 under the refurbished Prism Tower for one final battle. This is a 3-stage boss battle where you must defeat all 3 Zygarde forms in succession in order to capture Zygarde. If you lose at any point, you are thrust right back into the beginning of the battle against the 10% form, which is the slightly easier part of the fight. You just gotta keep attacking and not take more damage than you need to as you go up against the 50% form. Once the 50% form is defeated, then you go up against the hardest part of this fight against the complete form of Zygarde. There's one pattern in the battle where it will do Core Enforcer when it goes to the center of the field. There is a sweet spot where you need to stand to avoid blacking out. Just make sure you withdraw your Pokemon the moment you see Zygarde set up the Core Enforcer to avoid your Pokemon from fainting. Once Zygarde was down to the slither of its health, I brought in Eternal Flower Floette to deliver the final blow. And the moment you defeated Zygarde in full, it's a 100% catch rate regardless of what Pokeball you choose to use, and I decided to go with my favorite Pokeball of choice, the Luxury Ball. And that is how I managed to conquer all of Pokemon Legends ZA and beyond using only Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. To all of you who took the time out and wanted to view this from the beginning to the end and enjoyed this thrilling experience along with me, I sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you love content like this, be sure to leave a like. And if you are a newcomer to this channel, please consider clicking the subscribe button, because every subscription tells me that I'm doing something right and will further inspire me to want to make even more gaming content, especially considering I have a Pokemon Legends ZA Wild Zone quest coming up soon, where I must catch a shiny Pokemon in all 20 Wild Zones. Let me know in the comment section below who your favorite Mega Pokemon is. For me, it's gotta be Mega Gardevoir. And also let me know if I should do a shiny only run in this game. Until next time, take care, God bless you all, and keep on shining.